Hello, everyone. I decided to look at the New England Commission on Higher Education, partly because it's outside of the area, so I didn't think any of the other students in the class would probably present on this accreditation board. But also, after looking through them, they are all very similar, and this organization is recognized by the U.S. Department of Education as a reliable authority to oversee the quality of education. As I stated, there were a lot of similarities between all the accrediting boards, and this one had a similar mission. And I shared the mission because it does state some important clarity that you need to know with how they go about their businesses. First off, is they're looking not only at the quality of the current education, but they're also looking at what are the strategic planning and other things that the school are implementing to show that they are continuously looking for ways to improve and also to show that they're using resources to meet those needs. The New England Commission on Higher Education utilizes a commission which is comprised of 27 members of a board, 4 of which or more have to come from the private sector, and their job is to look after what are the interests of the public. The rest of the associate members are from schools that are part of the program. And these 27 board members are elected by the member colleges. Now, one thing that this organization does do is they limit institutions that can become members to those who have baccalaureate, master's, and doctoral programs. Although it does state in their bylaws that they do allow two-year universities that only offer associate's degrees, if the university can show that those degrees align well with other regional universities, so that then when students transfer, they go in seamlessly with a 4-year degree. I tried to do something a little different for this presentation. I tried using live slides and live web, but I wasn't able to actually utilize the website in a narrated PowerPoint. I was able to do it with just a regular slideshow. So instead, I went back and decided to do this the old school way and just put in the slides myself. And as you look through here, you see the standards for accreditation, and they're very similar to other organizations that I looked at. And they look at the school's mission and purpose. What are they doing? Do they state that their objectives are clear and they're pushing towards some kind of strategic plan? And how are they going about creating that plan? This includes the overall guidance and governance of the school. What is their academic programs that they offer? What kind of students are they enrolling at their university? Also, they look at the teachers. What is the learning environment? And what kind of scholarships do they offer to other students? And then we're going to look a little closer at standard number 7, which is institutional resources. In this one, they actually address digital technology specifically. And they also address a little bit in the educational effectiveness and how that digital technology is used to make sure they're providing quality education and learning. And then standard number 9 goes into, how are they conducting themselves? Are they conducting themselves in an ethical manner? And do they show this through transparency to the public? So standard number 7 in the institutional resources, they broke it down into 3 separate categories. And the first off is your human resources, which are probably the most valuable components of a higher education system. And then you look at the financial. Do they have the financial well-being and wherewithal to be able to support the ideas that they have in their strategic plan? And then the part that we're going to look a little closer at is the information, physical, and technological resources that are available. So part of this has to do with, of course, the actual physical structure of the university. So do the buildings have the proper maintenance? Are they the right size? Do they enable a good conducive environment for students to learn in. But then along with that, there are some tweaks in there where they actually look at the digital technology piece of it as well. So also in that resources for maintenance, do they have the resources to make sure they're creating the right structure? Do they have the right support that they need to make sure that their systems are working well and that they have the right systems for the specific task that they're trying to accomplish? And also in this information and technological resources is what kind of access do they have to library and other information services? And in that, there is the electronic environment. Is there places where students can go that help them in their studying habits? In this, I would assume something like, where is your computer lab located? Is it convenient for all students to get to? Is it in a quiet location, or is it right next to a really busy department that may be a lot of noises going on that are going to inhibit students from learning? Now, there is also the reliability, integrity, and security. Now, this one is kind of the bigger chunk of the technological piece. And in this, they want to look at what are the policies and procedures of the organization, and does the school address things like what happens if there's illegal or irresponsible use of their technological services? So what do they do in those situations? Also, what kind of disaster planning do they have? Do they have some way that they can get technology back on campus if there was some kind of disaster in the area? And part of that, and also exclusive of that, because it could result not from a disaster, but from some other type of problem, is how are they going to recover data if there is some type of, say, a breach, or if their servers were damaged? So how can they get that data back? I guess all of us as students can imagine what it would be like if all of a sudden all of our resources were lost. So all your papers that you had stored on the school server were suddenly missing. Now, hopefully there's other services or other ways that they're storing that information. So this is part of what they're trying to look at with the policies and procedures to make sure that there is some way to recover that data. And then the last part that they look at in the standards for digital technology is how is the institution actually using technology? So this starts from the administrative and planning part. How are they using programs and services to help in that area? Also, how do they know that they're providing good quality of education and utilizing technology in the right way in that learning? So part of that is also how are they evaluating their programs and services? And then all of that goes together to get into the actual educational effectiveness for the university. Now, I did find all this interesting, and I did find when I was searching, my initial quest was to do it on the International Society of Technology and Education, but they only offer certification, and there's a big difference between certification and accreditation. Is certification means you know how to do these things, whereas accreditation is looking at, are you actually implementing them and doing them currently within your organization? But for people who aren't really sure how you would go about actually implementing the ideas of an accrediting body, the certification from the International Society of Technology and Education provided really good step-by-step ideas on how you go about looking at training and implementing different ideas to keep up with current trends in the market. Well, thank you for listening to my presentation. If you have any questions or comments, please respond in the discussion board. Thank you very much.